One of the steady storylines here for Saints camp has been the play of Eli Apple,
Yeah,
the
money
cornerback
year.
opposite Marshawn Lattimore. Yes, it is a money year for Eli Apple, and he came in. He was picked up and traded for last season. Came in and locked down that side opposite Lattimore, and through all accounts is having a fantastic camp. One of the cool things about Apple is his mom, Annie Apple. You probably came to know her during the draft process when Apple was taken in the first round out of Ohio State by the New York Giants. And his mom, Annie Apple, is the CEO and the founder of HealHer Network. HealHer Network has had some cool stuff coming from an empowerment standpoint to the New Orleans area on September 8th. We're going to give her a voice and a platform here to speak to the public and also talk what it's like to be an NFL mom. With us this morning, Annie's joining us on Off the Bench, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Thank you for the time. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing
well.
good. So the high praise for Eli this camp is that's right? I mean, as his mom watching him, you're okay with the camp he's having?
You know, I'm loving it. I had the opportunity to get out there and spend some time with him and check out some practices and meet his position coach, AG, who's just phenomenal. You know, in football, we always hear about the head coaches, but really the position coach that really has the greatest impact
Yes.
on a player's development and players, overall morale as he grows into his skills. And AG has been phenomenal, and that whole secondary unit has been great. So it's good to see. It's great to see, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, and just seeing them work together and just seeing him happy and having a great time. As a mom, that's the most important thing. So, yeah, I'm loving his camp this year.
Well, and so I'm going to ask you to kind of go back in time here. I just had a baby about a year and a half ago now. It's incredible, right? It's like
You had a baby? How many months did you carry? Were you in labor?
Yeah, okay. Hey, it's a partnership, okay? But yes, to be fair, you are correct. My wife did all the hard work.
Yeah,
I did just a little bit in the beginning.
What is her name, by the way?
Caitlin.
Caitlin, shout out to you.
Shout out to Caitlin. I agree.
You're the real MVP.
She is an ass kicker. But obviously, so like as a parent, right? You start to have these dreams about your child and what they're going to end up doing and will they be successful and all this stuff. So what's it like as a mom when your son becomes a first-round pick in the NFL draft?
Well, first of all, the most important thing as a parent is you cannot dream for your child. Do you know what I mean? You just cannot dream for your child. They have to develop that. I remember being a young mom.
Brushing can miss plaque. Clean deeper. Remove up to 6 times more plaque with Listerine Ultra Clean.
It's the augmented reality game that so far has been downloaded over 10 million times. It's the augmented.
That's your most important job. And I was like, so whether you have $1 or $3 billion, you can do that. That costs you nothing. So for me, it was all about. I was like, yeah, I can do that. And the most important thing was just to help your child develop and discover what he or she loves and is good at. And Eli fell in love with football when he was like 10, 11 years old. And, and just he took a real, scholarly approach to it. Like, he read Walter Payton's, biography in less than 2 days. And he just read all the stats. You can ask Eli anything about who played in the Super Bowl, how many years from now he would be able to tell you the history of the game. So that's how he approached it. So once he fell in love with it, it was done. It was a wrap. And just watching him progress as a parent, the most important thing is to help him grow into his manhood. You can't get caught up in the whole pro athlete thing, because at the end of the day, he's a human. He's your son. He's a person. So you always want to help to just keep him grounded and just keep him focused and just to keep him reminded of who he really is. Because one day you're a treasure, one day you're trash. It goes all over the place. So I think my job as his mom and best friend is just to keep him grounded and laughing. We laugh a lot.
And so we're talking to Annie Apple, mother of Eli Apple, also very impressive in her own right. We'll get to some more of that coming up here in a bit. But so when Eli goes from New York to New Orleans, that directly solved a problem the Saints have been having for years, right? Having 2 legitimate quarterbacks. So it's worked out great for the team on the field and everything. What's it been like for the family making that move from one of the major markets in the Northeast, very different culturally, to now being down here in New Orleans?
Well, you know what? I'm still a Jersey girl. I'm in New Jersey, but I spend a lot of time in New Orleans to come out to games for Eli's to cook him, give him some home cooking
Nice.
over there. And but I think, in October when we had just played, Giants had just played in Atlanta, and I was literally on my way back from Atlanta to the team flies, and so they make it home first. And then when he got the text, that he was traded, literally you had like a matter of 2 hours. Like I had to get here, help him pack his stuff, and then get him on the flight. And it was so funny because even before then, his Ohio State teammates like Mike Thomas, Lattimore and all, and they was like, "Oh, we're coming to get you." They all
Von Bell. Yeah, they got a lot of Ohio State guys.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of Ohio State guys. So for him, Eli loves the game, right? He loves the game. So the transition was, of course, learning the playbook because when he was traded, the next game a few days later was Minnesota. So you really don't even have time to catch your breath. So I think for us, it was just important for him to just hit his stride, get connected with the playbook. And, and last year was a phenomenal season. It didn't end the way we would have liked it, but, we are building on that. And I think this year is going to be a phenomenal year.
Annie Apple joining us here, ESPN, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. She's on Twitter at Surviving America. She's got a great event coming down to New Orleans on September 8th. She's going to talk about it here shortly. But it seems like you've got a pretty cool network yourself. I mean, your brand seems like you're always pushing women empowerment. You're also bringing awareness to a lot of issues. I guess being a NFL mother seems like it's pretty cool in its own right, but what you have going on off the field and away from that seems like it's creating a lot of change. What goes into your day-to-day operation?
Well, I think for me, being Eli's mom is pretty cool. I have the stretch marks to prove it. Yay. But I've been a journalist for, before he was born. That's my training. I went to college and, I worked in television news as a writer, producer for years. I've done some stuff from, NBC News to, I wrote briefly with CNN and did some stuff with ESPN and so forth. So I think a lot of it is, and also, I'm a young mother. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. And in May, when we launched HealHer Network, it really was all about expanding the narrative of domestic violence. You can watch the news and get so upset and angry about everything, but, the best way to drive out darkness to be a light. And for us, HealHer Network, we help women to reset, recharge, and rediscover their joy. It's really helping survivors to rebuild their lives. So what we do is we put on these amazing events. I'm easily bored, so it's a lot of fun. And we give women the tools and the opportunity to really encourage their rebuild and give them the resources and opportunity to be able to do so. And, we picked designated cities where the Saints play. We'll be there. We're in New Orleans. September the 8th, we're doing a wonderful event that I'm so super excited about because it's our first. Being able to give a woman back her power after she survived trauma for so many years is one of the most amazing things you can do. I know because I've been through it. So we're in New Orleans on the 8th, and then when we play the Rams, 6 days later, we have 2 events in one day in LA. One of it's our HealHer Huddle, that's for 100 survivors of domestic violence. And then we also have HealHer Summit. It's for 100 moms who've lost their kids to gun violence. And it's so important to give women the opportunity to grieve and to grow, and to grieve with dignity, right, and compassion. So we're doing that, and I'm so excited that we get to kick off in New Orleans because, using football, we look at football as such a masculine sport, but it's so women-driven. I mean, we gave birth to all the players, did we not?
Yes.
You did that.
Yes.
And, you raised them and you helped them to become these amazing athletes and husbands and sons off the field. And it's so important that we honor women and give them that and use football platform to really expand the empowerment and the growth of women. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, and look, Annie, I just in my experience, football players, like the most masculine, the most alpha, love their mom the most. It's crazy how many mama boys are out there in the locker room.
Certified. I mean, because, this game is so tough. And, I try to make every game as possible because the game is such a physical game. And when you get off the field, the first thing you want to see is the face of someone that loves you, no matter how well you play, no matter who's calling your name and who's not. It's so important. So I get to, at these events, it's really great because I get to share my story and share what I've learned and really give women just the opportunity to realize that dream. Because one thing that trauma does and abuse does is it lies to you, it steals your identity, it steals your destiny. So being able to remind these women that they can still achieve that is amazing. I was able to, go to college, earn 2 degrees, 4 years, 3 kids, and leaving a very violent relationship with no money. But if I can do it, I feel they can. So we're going to have a good time on the 8th. And it's for women. Slots are limited. So if you really want to go, email events@HealHerNetwork.org. We'll love to have you.
Yep, and you can hit them on Twitter @HealHer Network or find Annie Apple at Survive in America. This was cool. Let's do this again. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Congrats again to your wife and you.